The Menu is a 2022 American black comedy horror film based on an original story created by Tracy and produced by Adam McKay, Betsy Koch, and Will Ferrell. It features an ensemble cast that includes Ralph Fiennes as a celebrity chef with Hong Chow playing his assistant and Anya Taylor-Joy, Nicholas Hoult, Janet McTeer, Reed Birney, Judith Light, and John Leguizamo playing diners who attend his exclusive restaurant. The film opens with Margot, Anya Taylor-Joy, and Tyler, Nicholas Hoult, waiting on a dock for a boat to take them to an island. Margot smokes a cigarette and Tyler tells her not to because it will ruin her palate. She notes the boat's small and he says they only have 12 guests. They make a profit by charging $1,250 a head. We meet some of the other guests. Lillian Bloom, Janet McTeer, is a food critic who raved about Hawthorn, the restaurant they're headed to when it first opened. She is accompanied by her husband, Ted, Paul Adelstein. Tyler tells Margot that restaurants rise and fall based on her reviews. There are also 3 tech brothers who are rowdy, all bragging about their expertise on hedge funds and cryptocurrency. A movie star, John Leguizamo, boards the boat, complaining that his assistant, Felicity, Amy Carrero, has booked something so elaborate for dinner. The boat arrives on the island, and everyone deboards and is greeted by servers and house staff on the deck. Each checks in but Elsa, Hong Chow, the restaurant captain, eyes Margot suspiciously. She tells Tyler that she's not who he had originally signed up to attend with, and he said that he has broken up with his girlfriend and is bringing Margot instead. This unnerves Elsa. As they continue across the lawn to the restaurant, Tyler asks about a cottage on a hill. Elsa says it's where the chef lives, but even the staff isn't allowed inside. The door to the restaurant is opened, a large square in the wall that opens outwardly, and they all enter. There is a sad old woman drinking at a table in the back, and Anne and Richard are already seated. There is an open kitchen behind all the tables where the staff is hard at work. Elsa tells them all not to photograph the dishes because Chef feels strongly that part of the beauty of his creations is precisely their ephemeral nature. Chef Slowik, Ralph Fiennes, appears in the kitchen. He's brooding and intense. He tastes the dish they're about to serve and approves. All the servers then begin to serve the amuse-bouche, which we're told in a title card, as if on a menu. Example, a pine nut toile cone filled with a shucks and strawberry sofrito, and a goat's milk snow. Tyler takes a photo and Margot points out he's not supposed to. They both try the food and Tyler ravishes it, but Margot isn't as impressed by the experience. The personalized treatment each guest receives at first seems thoughtful, and like the kind of pampering these people would expect when they pay such a high price. But in time, the specifically tailored dishes take on an intrusive, sinister, and violent tone, which is clever to the viewer but terrifying to the diner. The service remains rigid and precise, even as the mood gets messy. Dinner begins, and Chef Slowik introduces a series of courses, delivering increasingly unsettling monologues about each dish. For the third course, uncomfortable truths about each guest ranging from affairs to embezzlement are exposed via laser-printed images on tortillas. For the fourth course, a sous chef kills himself in front of the guests, causing a panic, but the staff make it clear no one may leave by cutting off one of Richard's fingers. Hawthorn's angel investor, to whom Slowik had to relinquish ownership of the restaurant to stay afloat during the COVID-19 pandemic, is then drowned. For the fifth course, which begins with Slowik allowing himself to be stabbed by a female employee whom he sexually harassed, the female guests dine while the male guests are given the chance to escape the island, but Slowik's staff catch all of the men and present them with another dish. Slowik explains each guest was invited because they either contributed to him losing his passion for his craft, or because they make a living off exploiting the work of artisans and workers like him and his team. He announces that everyone present will be dead by the end of the night. Since Margot's presence was unplanned, Slowik privately gives her the choice of dying either with the staff or the guests, but he refuses to let her leave. Margot is unmasked as an escort, who has served Richard Leibrandt, and whose real name is Aaron. Slowik reveals that Tyler was invited to the dinner months in advance and informed the guests would be killed. Despite this, Tyler was so zealous in his desire to participate in Slowik's craft that he kept the secret and hired Margot to replace his ex-girlfriend for the evening because Hawthorn did not offer seating for parties of one. Slowik humiliates Tyler by forcing him to cook and insulting his food, then orders Tyler to hang himself. Margot discovers his body. Slowik asks Margot to collect a barrel needed for dessert. En route, Margot sneaks into Slowik's house, only to be attacked by a jealous Elsa. Margot kills Elsa in self-defense by stabbing her in the neck. After seeing a framed Employee of the Month award showing Slowik as a young and happy fast food cook, Margot finds a radio, calls for help and returns to the restaurant with the barrel. A Coast Guard officer arrives from his boat, but after the guests are convinced they have been saved, he reveals himself to be a line cook in disguise and returns to the kitchen. As dessert is being prepared, Margot mocks Slowik's dishes and loveless cooking and complains that she is still hungry. When Slowik asks what she would like to eat, Margot requests a cheeseburger and fries. Moved by her humble request, Slowik does so, finding joy in creating the dish. The next meal is listed as cheeseburger, just a well-made cheeseburger. It's presented to Margot. She takes a bite. She agrees it's great, but explains her eyes are bigger than her stomach and wants the rest to go. The chef arranges for her to get a to-go bag. He thanks Margot for dining at Hawthorn. She puts $10 on the table and heads out to leave. She's given a gift bag with that night's menu inside as a memento to remember the night by. And Margot is free to go. She exits. Margot takes the Coast Guard boat docked nearby and escapes the island. The chef tells everyone they're on a no-tip system, so gratuity is included. He tells them their final dessert course is a play on the traditional campfire classic, the S'more. He says it's the most boring of all desserts, cheap chocolate, marshmallow, graham cracker, but somehow Americans like it because it's set on fire. A coat made of marshmallows is placed on each guest. The floor is covered in chocolate sauce and graham cracker crumbs, and then the entire room is lit on fire. Outside, Margot gets to the Coast Guard's boat. Inside Hawthorn, everyone is on fire and all the staff and guests are dying. A title reads, Final Dessert Course, S'more, Marshmallow, Chocolate, Graham Cracker, Customers, Staff, Restaurant. On the dock, Margot opens the to-go bag. She takes the cheeseburger and begins eating it. She reaches in and pulls out a replica of the menu they've had that night, which we've seen in titles throughout the film. She uses it to wipe her face as the restaurant explodes in flames, far away on the island.